혼주업소에. Hi, I'm Yongcheol Kim. I'm field hydrogeologist working for Korea Institute of Geoscience and Mineral Resources. I'm here in Cheonjeon Waterfall, located in Seogwipo City. Cheon means heaven, Je means emperor, Yeon means pond. According to the legend, the fairies came from heaven for washing their clothes. And so the whole name comes from those kind of the legend. So today we'll go to see and the waterfall and the springs and the irrigation canals, and so through this we'll come to know how they use the spring water and what's the relationship between the spring water and the geological feature and so on. So let's start today's field trip. This is the spring. So in Jeju Island, there are about 660 springs around the island. And most of the spring, more than 90%, located in coastal area. But like this, some springs are coming out about the high elevation area. So the rainwater infiltrate through the surface and migrate vertically, horizontally, and vertically, horizontally, and finally meet to the groundwater main body. But sometimes the water meet with the surface outcrop like this. So the water coming out from the wall like this, and most of the springs coming out between the lava flow boundaries, and some springs coming out through the lava tubes, and some springs coming out through the very high permeable materials like clinker or hyaloclastite. And also, from the long time ago, the people in this island start to live around the natural springs because they need water. So in Jeju Island, the spring was the main source for their drinking and some domestic water uses. Also, sometimes they use this kind of spring water for the agricultural purposes. So the people live around the spring and they communicate each other, their cultural life around the spring. So the spring is very important part of the culture of the folk of Jeju Island. Okay, let's go to see the waterfall now. Before we go, I'm thirsty now, so let me drink some water here. Okay, let's go. I'm here in the first waterfall in Cheonjeon waterfall system. As you can see that there is a columnar joint over there, and behind over there is no water. But you can see that there is water in here. So what's the source of this water? The answer is the spring. So you can you see that the hole over there and some water coming out from the wall? That's the spring and the source of this pond. So there is no water running in here, but there is the second waterfall down there and third waterfall down there. Those two waterfalls has water all year long. But this first waterfall has water falls only after the heavy rains. Let me explain how this waterfall made in geological way. So let's assume this is the lava flows. So after this lava flow, there is some times that passed, and there was the second lava flow like this, and between this one is that first waterfall, and this one is second waterfall and third waterfall like that. So between the each lava flows, there is a boundary, and this boundary has a very permeable property. So the water can flow easily through this boundary. So the water infiltrate to the ground and migrate, and when it comes out from that springs like that through this boundary. I'm here in second waterfall. So the source of the second waterfall is the spring, which is located at the bottom of the first waterfall. So the first waterfall has the water falling only when there is a heavy rain. But it's, as you can see, the second waterfall has water falling all year long. So the people can use this water all year long. I explained the role of the springs for the drinking, for the domestic water uses, and for the agricultural use. And here in Cheonjeon Waterfall, there is another role of the spring, which is very closely related to the habitat around here. The source of the Cheonjeon Waterfall is groundwater. The groundwater has a constant temperature all year long. Here in Korea, which is about 15 to 18 degrees of Celsius. So the water source is groundwater, has a constant temperature and give a moderately constant humidity around here, and gives a constant temperature around here, which makes the micro climate around here. So it makes a subtropical forest around here at both sides of this Cheonjeon Waterfall Valley. I'm in the middle of the Cheonjeon Irrigation Canal. So Cheonjeon Irrigation Canal, about a 2-kilometer long waterway from the Cheonjeon Fall to the Songcheonbong area, which is constructed in 1908. And the soil in Jeju Island has a very high permeable property. Because of that, it's hard to make the paddy field in Jeju Island. But thanks to this waterway, the people around here could produce the paddy rice. I went down further from the source of water spring to wrap up today's field trip. Today we saw the waterfall and the source of the waterfall and the springs and the irrigation canals and so on. Actually, the spring water has been used for valuable resources in Jeju Island for long years. Nowadays, we have the technology improved. So that we have groundwater pumping well field to supply most of the water sources. But spring water still has various values. Still, it can be used for water resources for the emergency situation, and it gives us some healing spaces and let the people to communicate around the springs, so it has also cultural values. But nowadays, the quantity and the quality of the spring water has decreased because of the population growth and development activities around the island. So we need to protect this valuable spring and hand over to our next generations. Thanks for joining today's field trip.